from the great state of Illinois. And everybody up here at the North American Bear Center on the deck is wondering, who's a PTZ driver? That's our camera driver, our pan, tilt, and zoom camera located on the deck to where the action is. And PTZ driver, both Lucky and Holly Bear are near the scale. Both Lucky and Holly Bear are near the scale. And they got something kind of interesting. I don't know if anybody got the picture, but each of the tubes had a fruit strip in it, and they both ate it. It was just a plain old fruit strip that you can buy in the store, and both bears went right at it. We have worldwide podcasts every day at 11 a.m. and at 4 p.m. Ely time. The two bears you have out right now are the larger of the two is Lucky Bear. He's our 7-year-old male. And our smaller little 19-month-old little female. Her name is Holly Bear. Holly because we got her at Christmas time in December of 13. These two bears have finally developed a relationship and a friendship, as you can well see. Little Holly Bear tried to get some of Lucky's food, and he's allowing that to happen. He could easily just bat her away, or chase her away, or tree her, very easily. But no, he's not doing that. He's allowing her to eat right with him. In the wild, that wouldn't be necessarily very likely to happen. Holly Bear came to us in December 27th. She came out of hibernation in April. And she had some skin issues that we had to deal with. So she wasn't cleared to come out into the 2.5 acres that 4 bears share until May 30th. We've been working at integrating her with all our 4 bears, and these two have struck up the first friendship. It isn't necessarily that surprising to some of us on the staff that this has happened. They are the two closest in age. We have Ted Bear, who's not out right now. He's 17, and he has noticed Holly and isn't totally ignoring her, but just not all that interested. But he will tolerate her, but not quite like this. Then our 18-year-old female, her name is Honey Bear. She's a cinnamon-phased black bear, not a brown bear. She's just a cinnamon-phased black bear. She was out earlier today. She would never do this, at least at this point, with little Holly Bear. She trees Holly Bear, and by that I mean she will chase after little Holly Bear and put her up in a tree. That's because it's a matriarchal society in the wild. Females run the show, and basically Honey Bear, our 18-year-old female, wants to tell Holly Bear who the boss is. That's the way it works in the wild, and that's actually the way it works here as well. For those of you on the deck and even on the PTZ camera, if you look at little Holly Bear, she's got what I call a little mohawk going on her back, kind of down her spine, and that is actually brown in color, kind of a dark brown. Well, that's not going to be there permanently. That's the winter undercoat that she had this winter when she hibernated, and that is all going to come off. And she's going to be a black bear. She's going to look like Lucky Bear. She's going to be black. Lucky weighs about 330 pounds. Little Holly Bear is right about at 90 pounds. They have similar backgrounds, these two bears. They both were born in the wild to wild mothers. In the case of Lucky, he came from the state of Wisconsin. As we understand it, he was taken out of the den by somebody. Eventually, he found his way to a rehab facility in the state of Wisconsin. He was deemed non-releasable, and we got lucky. This 330-pound male, we got him at under 20 pounds in July of '07, and Lucky has been here ever since. Little Holly Bear, she also was born of a wild mother, but she came from the state of Arkansas. She was born in Arkansas. She was separated from her mother by a wildfire, and she was taken in by some family and attempted to be raised in a family environment. That's not something you can do without licenses and permits. So of course she was taken away from those people and sent to a rehab facility. The rehab facility deemed her as well non-releasable for the wild, and she needed a forever home, and we became that home. When we got Holly, we got her on December 27th, and if I recall that date, it was below zero, and we had close to 3 feet of snow here in this area in Ely on the ground, and our goal was to get Holly Bear to hibernate. And so she hibernated until April. We don't really know her hibernation schedule. We're kind of interested to see this fall when she does hibernate. Hibernation is really not all the same for all bears. Lucky usually hibernates in late October. Ted Bear, who's not out at the moment, he usually hibernates in late November. And this last year, Honey Bear, our cinnamon phase bear, did not hibernate until December 1st. So we really don't know when Holly Bear is going to hibernate. But when we got Holly, people were concerned that she came from Arkansas, which is many miles south of here, from a much warmer climate. So a lot of our supporters, followers of Ted, Lucky, and Honey, and those that follow Dr. Rogers' research, who is the founder of this facility, they were concerned about how Holly would acclimate coming from the great state of Arkansas, 3-4 days later find herself here in 3 feet of snow and below zero. Interestingly enough, there's a story about Arkansas bears. In the early 70s, around 1970 actually, in 71, the Arkansas Fish and Game Department, or RDNR, realized that the great state of Arkansas had probably less than 100 black bears in the state. And they wanted to preserve that population because they thought it was valuable to have black bears in the state of Arkansas. The state of Arkansas called the state of Minnesota, Department of Natural Resources, and said, "We know you've got black bears in the state of Minnesota. Can we strike up a deal with you?" And this is back in the early 70s. "We'd like some of your black bears, and we'll transport them to the state of Arkansas, and we'll give you wild turkeys in exchange." So back then, over 40 years ago, there was an exchange of over 200 black bears coming out of this Arrowhead region, right here in the state of Minnesota. Bears transported to Arkansas, and in return, we got wild turkeys for the state of Minnesota. So that long story, what is my point with that long story? That long story leads to this. Holly Bear has northern genes in her. Because of her ancestors, it is quite likely that when we transported 200 to 250 bears down to Arkansas and add them to the 100 or less black bears in the state of Arkansas, many generations later, she more than likely has Minnesota genes in her. Therefore, she more than likely is going to hibernate probably late October, and we're waiting to find out this fall. So we don't have to worry about her having an undercoat and being cold up here because she's got those Minnesota genes. And who would have guessed that that was the case? They heard something, I'm not too sure. They just flinched a little bit. Both of them did. I didn't hear anything. It may have been someone on the deck, I'm not sure. But their hearing, by the way, is better than ours. Both at the high range and the low range, their hearing is better than ours. And did you know that black bears do see in color? They're not just black and white. And they have a fabulous navigation system as well. And I know for the younger generation, a navigation system means something in your car, like a nav system or something on your smartphone, GPS. Bears don't have any of that. A black bear can find a great blueberry patch year after year. No matter how far away it is, if they want to go there, they remember it from year to year. And they can walk in the forest, straight line, to maybe a blueberry patch or some other great food locations when they're hungry. I know I would find it very challenging to walk through the North Woods. Navigation system myself to find something a couple miles away. I would also be hesitant to walk in the woods at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning without a flashlight. These bears, they don't need a flashlight at midnight. They can walk through these woods, not bump into a tree, a rock, or anything else. I would need a flashlight, and I'd probably need either a compass or a GPS system to find something 3-4 miles away in the woods. That's just a little information about black bears. I want to thank the PTZ driver from Illinois. I want to thank the Pond Chat moderators for moderating our chat page that can be found on www.bear.org. It is moderated by people around the world that have an interest in black bears and that have an interest in dispelling myths and misperceptions about black bears. We're open today until 7 o'clock tonight. It's been kind of an unpredictable day here at the North American Bear Center. Right at the moment, it's overcast, but much brighter than it was about 2 hours ago. Today we have seen these two bears, Lucky and Holly, a couple of times today, both up playing in the cub tree, or the white, we call it the cub tree. It's the white pine on the far left of the enclosure. It's the tallest tree on the left with a forked top that is actually dead. The bottom 1/3 of that tree is alive. And these two, from about 12:15 to about 12:50 this afternoon, were not only in it, but playing in it. And they were also there around 2:30 to 3 o'clock again this afternoon. They both have picked that tree. That particular tree is a white pine, and white pine is a favorite of black bears because of its bark. The bark is curved, and it doesn't come off very easy. And it's a very easy tree for a cub, a small cub, or a little yearling like Holly Bear to climb. So if you don't see them, you might find them in that tree. The other day they were playing, running around these balsams here. And a couple days ago they were both up an aspen tree together. Holly up the highest, at least 40 to 45 feet. And Lucky Bear not too far behind her. I would like to thank everybody coming to the North American Bear Center today. Your admissions ticket and your little sticker is a day pass, and we're open until 7 o'clock today. We are also open tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you're up here for the long 4th of July weekend, you're certainly welcome to come back. We will have broadcasts and bear enrichment at 11, 1, and 4 p.m. Again, thank you for coming to visit the North American Bear Center today. And if you're traveling over this long holiday weekend, please drive safely and be careful on the roads. Thank you very much.